All right, guys, I'm back. I want to do a quick news roundup of some of the stories I've been following over the past week or two. Real quick, I've got my microphone in view of the camera. It's not a new thing. I've owned this for a long time. A very good friend of mine gave it to me as a birthday gift when I was doing the previous iteration of this podcast. I really don't like the look of it being in the camera shot. I'd rather it be off screen, but I thought, why don't I move it closer to me? Maybe the audio will be better for this episode. We'll see, but here it is. And let's get moving with a few news stories. Um, Flash, Washington, D.C. Tonight, the shockwaves of a staggering statement from none other than U.S. President Donald Trump. The man who holds the highest office in the land has plunged to new depths of shameful rhetoric, blaming Ukraine for the very war that Russian autocrat Vladimir Putin unleashed upon the world. Trump, in his latest diatribe, dishonestly claims that Ukraine's resistance sparked the bloodshed, an absurd distortion of truth that has left Europe reeling and allies in the West wondering how far has this American president fallen. While the president peddles deceit, the rest of the world remains steadfast in its commitment to democracy and justice. This treacherous line of thinking cannot, must not go unopposed. It is the duty of all who stand for truth to confront this dangerous misinformation and expose it for what it is, an attack on the very fabric of honesty, decency, and freedom. Flash, Warsaw, Poland. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, a man I've long admired for his steady hand and political savvy, has come out with a stunning declaration. Poland, under his leadership, will not be sending peacekeeping troops to Ukraine, a move that has stunned the Western allies and shocked the defenders of freedom worldwide. Now, I've long said Donald Tusk is one of the finest Polish politicians on the world stage. But this is nothing short of cowardice. A refusal to stand shoulder to shoulder with those fighting for their very survival in the face of Putin's aggression. It's a betrayal of the boldness that has made Poland a beacon of resistance against the Russian menace. While Donald Tusk's decision may be framed as pragmatism, the truth is it sends a chilling signal to Ukraine and the West. The world is watching. Let's hope this isn't the beginning of a series of missteps that could cost us and Ukraine. Flash, New Delhi, India. A stunning political earthquake has just shaken the streets of New Delhi. After a staggering 27 years in the wilderness, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's right wing political party, the BJP, has triumphed in the latest local election for the city, the capital city of India, New Delhi, seizing power once again in the Indian capital. But let me tell you guys, this is not a victory for democracy. It's a tragic setback. The blow to the progressive and pro democracy forces that have fought tirelessly for a more inclusive, equitable India. Modi's party has long been accused of stifling dissent and undermining the very principles that should hold this great nation together. While the streets of New Delhi celebrate, the forces of progress must brace themselves for a long and arduous road ahead. This election result marks a pivotal moment, but the fight for India's soul is far from. Flash, Manila, in the Philippines. In a shocking twist that could rewrite the future of the nation's political landscape, the Filipino House of Representatives has impeached none other than Vice President Sara Duterte. Yes, you heard me right. Vice President of the Philippines, Sara Duterte. And the charges? A conspiracy to assassinate her own running mate, incumbent President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., also charged with corruption, and on top of that, alleged extrajudicial killings. It's a trifecta of scandal that's got the whole country buzzing. The Duterte family's grip on power has always been tight, but now their criminal enterprise might just be unraveling. The stage is set for a Senate trial that could see Sarah Duterte, the vice president, booted from office. And with her, the dark legacy of the Duterte family's political machine. The Duterte family's criminal enterprise strikes once more, and this time it's personal. The second highest office in the land is at stake. Could this be the beginning of the end of the notorious political dynasty? Time will. And finally, a preview of this weekend's German election. So let's go. Dateline Berlin. Hold on to your ballots, folks. Germany is heading for a high voltage snap election on February 23rd, this Sunday, and the political temperature is rising faster than a kettle on full boil. Chancellor Olaf Scholz's government has collapsed, and now it's a free for all at the ballot box. Let's start with the poll position. The Conservative Christian Democratic Union and Christian Social Union of Bavaria are leading the pack in the polls at 30%, with conservative leader Friedrich Merz eyeing the chancellery. The far right Alternative for Deutschland, or AfD, is sitting at about 20%, making waves and raising eyebrows. Meanwhile, incumbent Chancellor Olaf Scholz's Social Democratic Party, the once mighty SPD, is slumping to third place at 16% in the opinion polls, from first to worst in just 3 years. And the Greens are hanging in there on 13% of the vote, while the smaller parties, they're skating on thin electoral ice, hovering around the 5% electoral threshold to get seats in the Bundestag. The hot topics for this election: Ukraine. Mainstream parties want to keep backing Kiev, but the far right AfD and the hard left, it's a new party, the BSW, they both say it's time to shake hands with Moscow. When it comes to the economy, Germany's wallet is feeling the squeeze after 2 years of economic troubles. Plans to tackle that problem range from tax cuts to nuclear power, but no one's saying quite how to foot the bill. And finally, migration, probably the biggest issue this election. With tensions around migration rising, the center right Christian Democrats are toughening its stance on immigration. The center left Social Democrats are cracking down on deportations. And the far right Alternative for Deutschland, AfD party, is calling for border closures, which is sparking controversy across the German political spectrum. With just days to go, Germany's political battlefield is wide open. Will voters stick with the old guard or roll the dice on something new? Stay tuned, because in this race, today's frontrunner can be tomorrow's footnote. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the latest from Germany. I'll probably have more to say on the German election next week after the results come in. But for now, thanks for watching. All right, so the German election results are in. I was going to share the results with you guys on another episode, but then I thought, why not just make it one? So I want to talk real quick about what happened this Sunday, the 23rd of February. Germany had federal elections, and the results show the center right conservatives coming in first place, followed by the far right in second place. The center left Social Democrats are in third place. The Greens are in fourth place, and the radical leftist party is in fifth place, with a few other parties just below the 5% electoral threshold. So, just to summarize what happened, the far right did increase its vote share. It almost doubled compared to last election. They had about 10% last election. Now the far right has 20%. That's not good, obviously, but it could have been a lot worse. In first place are the Christian Democrats, the CDU. They're led by Friedrich Merz. He is a pro-EU, pro-Western, pro-democracy, moderate conservative, and he is almost certain to be the next chancellor. And then the party of incumbent chancellor, Olaf Scholz of the SPD. They fell to third place. They fell from first to third place. A pretty bad election result for the Social Democrats. And then the Greens fell a little bit, and the far left, I think they held about even. So to summarize, I guess I would interpret the election results this way. The establishment, the pro-democracy establishment in Germany held their ground. They lost some ground, but the establishment still came out with the majority of the seats in the Bundestag, and I expect the coalition to include the center-right Christian Democrats, probably the center-left Social Democrats, maybe throw the Greens in. Um, the important thing is the moderates are going to lead the next German government. And so the far right in Germany hasn't gained power yet. Time will tell if they ever achieve that goal. But for now, Germany's policy is going to continue, especially foreign policy is going to continue the way it has currently been. I don't expect a lot of change in that area. Domestically, there will be some changes in, the economic situation, right? The conservatives will probably attempt to cut taxes, something like that. But Germany dodged a bullet this time. So although second place for the far rights is pretty bad, especially for a country like Germany. But that's the election results. See you guys next time.